Okay, good afternoon, everyone. And today we will be going through a past paper, and this one is January 2021, paper one. Right. So before we go into the main paper, we're going to read the instructions first for the entire paper. So those who are not familiar with how the CSEC paper one looks, this will be the first page that you see. Most, if not all, of the paper ones that you will do, this is the format of the first page. So it reads, read the following instructions carefully. And as you can see, you have 1 hour and 30 minutes to complete it. This test consists of 60 items. You'll have 1 hour and 30 minutes to answer them. In addition to this test booklet, you should have an answer sheet. So during the exam, you will be given an answer sheet. So don't worry about that. Each item in this test has 4 suggested answers lettered A, B, C, D. Read each item you're about to answer and decide which choice is best. On your answer sheet, find the number which corresponds to the item and shade the space having the same letter as the answer you have chosen. Look at the sample item below. And here we have a sample. And on your answer sheet, that is where you will shade the answer that you chose. So your answer will not be on the question paper. You will make that answer on the bubble sheet. So 5, you want to change your answer, erase it completely. When you're told to begin, turn the page and work, etc. So let us begin. In our first section, we have 5 items, and the instruction reads, each sentence in this section has 1 underlined word. Choose a word that is closest to opposite in meaning to the underlined word. So let us begin. So number 1 reads, the distinguished actor avoided the press whenever he was on holidays. And our underlined word is avoided. So we all know what avoided means. And remember, we are choosing the word that is closest to opposite in meaning. So the opposite of avoided from this sentence would be contacted. So when answering these questions, make sure you think about the context that the sentence gives, because a dictionary definition or a dictionary given antonym might not be included on the paper. So again, it is closest to opposite in meaning. Next one we have, the compassionate man was known by many in the crowd. Compassionate is underlined, and the options we have are fussy, cruel, indifferent, dissatisfied. So we know fussy and dissatisfied will not be chosen. They don't make sense. They're not opposite in meaning to compassionate. So that leaves us with cruel and indifferent. Now, why was indifferent chosen instead of cruel? So, a compassionate person is sympathetic. They are loving, kind, etc., etc. Cruel, it is an antonym as well. It doesn't mean compassionate. Someone who is cruel has no sympathy, etc., etc. But indifferent, in its definition, is closest in meaning, closest to the opposite in meaning to compassionate. As an indifferent person lacks sympathy, they don't display as much emotions, they are not kind, etc., etc. So again, think about the context of your sentence. And even though there might be a strong antonym there, ensure that you think about the other option or options that might be the correct answer. So number 3, as far as I am concerned, the lattice windows are the most conspicuous feature on the building. So some of you might not know what conspicuous means. So conspicuous means attracting notice slash attention. The options we have: A, negative; B, important; C, insignificant; D, understandable. No, negative, we can rule that out. Understandable, we can rule that out. Again, conspicuous means attracting notice slash attention. Important, kinda similar to conspicuous. And because of that, we know that that cannot be the answer. So insignificant is the answer for this question, right? This is supposed to be attracting notice and attention. So let me change that. Attracting notice and attention. All right, number 4. It seemed probable that the country will maintain the curfew for another week. We have A, unlikely; B, impudent; C, undecided; D, inevitable. Just from common sense, we know that the other 3 options, they cannot be the answer. So the answer is unlikely, A. Number 5. Many teenagers and even some parents do not agree with the amount of restrictiveness in today's society. We all know what restrictiveness means. And out of all the options that we have here, permissiveness makes the most sense. Another tip I want to give you guys is that if you don't know the meaning of a word in either the options or if it's underlined or anything, use your common sense or choose the answer that seems like it makes the most sense. Right. So we know that it can't be competitiveness, it can't be cruelty, it can't be strife. So one of the options has to be the answer. Right. So with that, we can move on to the next items. It reads, in the following sentences, one of the underlined words may be misspelled. Choose from the 3 options A, B, C, the word that is misspelled. If no word is misspelled, choose option D. Right. So number 6, it is my pleasure to give you some information concerning proper nutrition. All the words here are spelled correctly, so we choose D. Number 7, the nurses were given separate quarters because the main building did not have enough room for them. Now, separate is a word that can give you trouble, mixing the A with the E, but the correct spelling is separate, separate. So, especially as Caribbean students, we might have trouble spelling certain English words correctly or replacing certain words with other words. So, my best tip to you is to continuously have spelling competitions, spelling quizzes, etc., etc. Test yourself and your spelling. If you notice that you get certain words incorrect multiple times, make sure to study those words. It might be simple words like separate, or it might be other types of words, but keep that in mind as you go into the exams. Number 8, the arguments put forward by the irate parent merely help to further aggravate the situation. Aggravate is spelled incorrectly. It's supposed to spell Aggravatate. So 2 G's. Again, write down the words that you spelled incorrectly, go over them, etc., etc. Number 9, the opinion that men are superior to women is a fallacy which men themselves perpetuate. All the words in this sentence are spelled correctly, so we choose no error. Number 10, his intelligence rather than his height was a deciding factor when considering him for promotion. So obviously we know that height is spelled incorrectly. It is supposed to be spelled Height. So we move on to our next section, items 11 to 15. Revise each of the following sentences according to the directions that follow it. Do not change the meaning of the original sentence. Look at the options A to D for the word or phrase that best suits your revised sentence and mark your choice on the answer sheet. So, with this section, I encourage you to write out the sentence for yourself. If when you try to form it in your head, it doesn't make sense, try writing out the sentence, right, to see if you can choose the correct answer. So number 11, the cricket match ended abruptly when many of the spectators stormed the field. Begin the sentence with many of the spectators stormed. So that being said, we have many of the spectators stormed the field, so the cricket match ended abruptly. So it couldn't be any other word there. It can't be but the cricket match ended abruptly. It can't be getting the cricket match ended abruptly. It can't be preventing the cricket match ended abruptly. Right. So again, I implore you to try to write out the sentence in its restructured form. Number 12. People from crowded nations cannot get over the accessibility of Canada's natural environment in all its significance. Begin the sentence with, it is impossible for. So it is impossible for people from crowded nations to get over the accessibility of Canada's natural environment in all of its significance. So the answer is B, to get over. It can't be to be over the accessibility. It can't be to have got over the accessibility. It can't be to get it over. Number 13, she found, even after she had made several attempts to regulate the sprinkler, that the water was still reaching the furniture on the veranda. Begin the sentence with, it is impossible for. It is impossible for she had found that water was still reaching the furniture on the veranda, even after she had made several attempts to regulate the sprinkler. I have to revise this sentence, but she had found that is the answer in this case. Number 14. It is going to be all right, Mom assured me. Begin the sentence with, Mom assured me that. So, Mom assured me that it was going to be all right. Not that there, not that simply, not that only. It was going to be all right. Number 15. These students are hardworking as well as respectful. Begin the sentence with not only. So we know that whenever we see not only, we also see but also, right? So the sentence would read, not only are these students hardworking, but they are also respectful. So it's not only are these students hardworking rather than, nor though, nor and. Most said when you see not only, but also will follow, right? So now we go to items 16 to 20. Some of the following sentences are unacceptable because of inappropriate grammar, idiom, or vocabulary. Some sentences are acceptable as they stand. No sentence contains more than one inappropriate element. Select one underlined part that is inappropriate and choose the corresponding letter, A, B, C. If the sentence is acceptable as it stands, choose D. Number 16, Mary, will you please full up the buckets before the water supply is cut off? We know that B is the inappropriate phrase right there, right? Again, as Caribbean students, we have to be careful because phrases that we are used to or sentences that we are used to may not correspond to standard English. So we have to be careful. So instead of full up, it would be, will you please fill up the buckets before the water supply is cut off. Number 17. Julie prefers to lie in bed, not wanting to go to school, nor does any work. Obviously, we know that C does is the inappropriate option. It should be Julie prefers to lie in bed, not wanting to go to school, nor do any work. Number 18, he shared the sweets among you and me. Among is the incorrect option. It should be between. So among is usually used with three or more persons or things. Between is for two things. You and me, two. So we use between. Number 19, Peter have dengue and feels weak, so he is unable to participate in the inter-school games. Peter has dengue, so A have is the incorrect option. 20, too much students entered the competition. Only one of them was good enough to reach the quarter-finals. Much is the incorrect option, as much is used with nouns that cannot be quantified. Students can be quantified, meaning that they can be counted. So we use too many students entered the competition. So keep these tips and tricks in mind. Revise your verbs, revise your pronouns, revise your subject verb agreement, pronoun rules, your spelling, all of those good stuff. Revise those for this section of the paper. Now we're at items 21 to 25. Each sentence has one word missing. Choose from the four options the word which best complete the meaning of the sentence. Mark your choice on the answer sheet. Again, this section of the paper is going to use some common sense. It's going to test your vocabulary. It's going to test your critical thinking skills. At some points, it's going to be easy to choose. At other points, you're going to see words that you don't know, and you have to formulate a meaning for based on the context. Number 21. There are many who would try to dash your efforts because of their jealousy. It can't be tried to assist. It can't be tried to affect. Can't be tried to encourage in this context. So we use thwart. Those who don't know what thwart means, it means to prevent someone from accomplishing something. So that makes the most sense in this sentence. Number 22. Most parents do not dash in discipline from their children. We have A, tolerate, which we already see is highlighted. B, most parents do not promote indiscipline from their children. Kind of an awkward sentence. Most parents do not frown on. We know that that's not true. Most parents do not supervise indiscipline. Awkward sentence. So the best choice is tolerate. Number 23. The clerk was granted a promotion because she was A, indolent, no. B, agreeable. I mean, some people can be promoted for that, but in this case, let's look for another answer. C, negligent. We know that no one can be promoted for that. B, industrious. This is the best answer. And we know someone who is industrious is hardworking, detail-oriented, etc., etc. And those are most of the traits required to get a promotion. 24. The debate on the best way to enter the free trade agreement had not yet been dashed. We have B, accepted, C, approved, D, discovered, A, resolved. Since we're talking about a debate, the rest of the options don't really make much sense. So resolved is the best answer because we know that debates are persuasive events. They require persuasive techniques, strategies, etc., etc. So resolved has to be the best thing. But we know that at the end of the debate, the person who has the strongest point, they are the ones who we agree with. And number 25, the lawyer gave his client some good dash about taxes. B, methods, C, solutions, D, guarantees. Uh, the best choice would be advice. So again, it's not just about choosing an answer, it's about thinking of the most suitable one according to the context, and it is about choosing the one that makes the most sense, right? Right, so that is where we will be ending today. We have completed the grammar and mechanics section. So on Thursday, we will continue this same paper and talk about the comprehension section. So we know that we're going to see poems, we're going to see um, narrative extracts, maybe an expository extract, and some kind of visual imagery, whether it's an advertisement, a chart, a table, etc., etc. So we will deal with that at our next class, hopefully. I hope that we can meet on Thursday at the same time. So thank you for listening, and I hope we can be here again on Thursday.